Hey guys, welcome to this session by Great Learning. My name is Anirudh, and in this session, we're going to check out an introduction to AWS certifications. Now, guys, before we begin with this session, make sure that you can see my screen fine, and if you can hear me fine, guys, if you can hear me fine, if you can see my screen fine, just quickly head to the chat box and just put a little yes so that everyone knows that things are working fine and we can begin with this session. Guys, head to the chat box and put a quick yes if you can, hear me fine. And of course, guys, in the meantime, I'm using my mobile phone to make sure I monitor all of your questions, all of the chat section. So make sure that you just putting down any question that you have, any question that you might have. We are more than happy to answer it for you. So make sure you're putting them down. Right now, I do have a couple of yeses from Rudresh, Shubham, and all of you guys. Well, welcome to this session, guys. No matter where you're tuning in from, I welcome you all. It's a beautiful evening here in Bengaluru, and in this session we're going to check out AWS certifications, which are an amazing thing if you have ventured into the world of cloud computing. But then, guys, before we actually go on to understand what we're going to cover in this session, I want to take a second of your time to guide you about this venture we have here at Great Learning called Great Learning Academy. Now, ladies and gentlemen, Great Learning Academy is this venture where we are providing you with courses for free. You can sign up for free, enroll into courses for free, learn for free, and get a certificate of completion absolutely free of cost as well. We have 700,000 plus learners coming in from 140 different countries across the world. We have 1,000 plus learning 1,000 plus hours of learning content for free here. We have 3 million plus monthly views that we get on all of our content. We are covering a lot of different courses in a lot of different domains. In fact, we have 200 plus courses, and it is taught in multiple languages as well. For example, there are certain courses which are taught in Hindi, as you can see here, Python for machine learning in Hindi, right? So again, since you guys have been asking for courses in multiple languages, we definitely are covering all of them. And guys, even before you check out Great Learning Academy, I can assure you of this fact that no matter where you are in your career right now, be it that you're still in school, you're in college, you've just graduated, you're preparing for a job, you're looking for your first job switch, or that you are an experienced professional who's again looking towards other domains as well, we have something here at Great Learning Academy for you that you definitely can make use of and add immense amount of values, not only to your knowledge, your education, but also to your most important part of the profile, which is your resume, right? So you can get started with any of these courses. Whatever you see on your screen, everything here is free, ladies and gentlemen. For example, we have multiple courses. They are beginner courses, intermediate courses, and advanced courses as well, right? For example, here is a cloud foundation course, since we are discussing about cloud computing here. This is a course meant for beginners. A lot of skills are covered regarding cloud fundamentals. How do you work with service deployment? How do you scale all your fundamentals onto the cloud and all of that? You can see the entire syllabus that is covered in this particular course. And now, once you enroll for free, as you can see, the course cost is completely free, so you can enroll into it for free, and upon completion you will get a certificate of completion that looks just like this. This will add immense amount of values, be it on your LinkedIn profile, on your resume, or any other document that you guys are using to get yourselves a job, guys. So again, there are multiple courses on cloud computing that you guys can get started with, so make sure you're checking out. It's not just cloud computing, we have numerous domains, even a complete job interview preparation section if you guys are looking for a job and you require some sort of assistance to stay ahead of the competition, right? So make sure you're checking that out as well. There are multiple ways on how you can reach Great Learning Academy, ladies and gentlemen. You can reach it, of course, by a simple Google search. You can reach it using greatlearning.in/academy website. Even if you can have, if you're a person who likes to learn on your mobile phones, tabs, and whatnot, we have the Great Learning app, which is available both on Android and iOS platforms as well. So go to the Android Play Store, the Google Play Store, or even the Apple App Store. You can download the Great Learning app. Make sure you're checking that out, because once you're here, you get all of these live updates as and when we put it, right? For example, you see all the upcoming live sessions that are planned for you guys as well. For example, this is the session that you're tuned into right now, my session, Introduction to AWS Certification. Of course, we have other subject matter experts who are taking sessions on other domains as well, so you'll just stay in touch with all of these things. And I think it is vital that you guys are in touch with the latest things that we are putting out, right? That is the the important reason of why you should also subscribe to our Great Learning YouTube channel as well, because once you subscribe to the Great Learning YouTube channel, and the important thing is you hitting that bell icon, every time we put out a video, you're notified of it immediately as soon as we put out the video, just because you have hit that notification bell, right? That is very vital. Guys, make sure to subscribe to the Great Learning YouTube channel. This will help us bring more content out to you guys. And as always, we're gonna keep this session highly interactive, guys. You guys are amazing audience, I'm sure. So if you have any questions regarding this domain, make sure that you're putting them down, and I'll be more than happy to answer all of them. So right, guys, now one important thing that I have to talk about here is what we are going to cover in this particular session. Right now, this session is an introductory session where we are trying to look at, analyze and understand the different AWS certifications that are available. But before we get to that point, you need to understand what cloud computing is. You need to know who AWS is, what is AWS, who's the provider, what's going on in the entire world of cloud computing. Once you know all the basic gist of it, once you understand everything from a third person's perspective, let us dive right into the concept, the heart of the concept, where we are going to be checking out AWS certification. There are numerous important points that you're supposed to know if you are considering to get certified in AWS. And of course, at the end of it, I'm going to be guiding you on all the aspects of being a specialist in cloud computing as well, ladies and gentlemen. So make sure that you're having a pen and paper or anything that you can use to take notes of, because at the end of the session, I'm sure you will be packed with a bunch of information, a good amount of knowledge that you can take away from your session, ladies and gentlemen. I highly value my time and of course your time as well. So let's keep this session very clear, very concise for all of us as usual. Right, guys? Now, the first thing that we definitely have to talk about is what cloud computing is. Now, ladies and gentlemen, this is a question that I am going to ask you all, since you are the audience here. What is it that you know about cloud computing? What is it in itself? So what is cloud computing? Head to the comment section and let me know. Okay, I see a lot of comments already, guys. While you type in the answer to what is cloud computing, I can take a look at Shubham's question. He says, great, can you share a roadmap for data science? Shubham, I myself have created a video on the career roadmap for data science. It is on the Great Learning YouTube channel. Please make sure to check that out. You can search for career roadmap in data science and you will find my video for the same. Right. Rudresh says, yes sir, but before you start, I have a question. Rudresh, please feel free to ask any sort of questions you have. It will be my pleasure to answer them. Right. So Priya Mehta says, in GL course, it is theory based or as well as hands-on practical. Well, Priya, very good question. In the case of Great Learning Academy, or I hope with GL course you meant Great Learning Academy. Yes, we do take this approach where we cover theory and make sure that you get ample amount of practical experience as well. Now, this is a domain where practical experience is very important. So we include both theory and practical responses. Right, guys. Now, to answer the question that I asked here, what cloud computing is, it is basically a delivery of various services which, across the internet, which you never thought could have been done before. Let me give you a simple example. Every time you send an email or you receive an email, maybe something happens to your phone or your laptop and it is not turning on anymore, your data is lost, right? But if the data is backed up somewhere, for example, your photos go into Google Photos or something, or Apple's iCloud or anything into that, right? Even though your laptop fails, your internet fails, your data is still stored somewhere, right? It is stored in a remote server, which can be considered as a cloud computing environment in itself. It is not only this. Whenever you have any sort of office work, whenever someone says, hey, back it up to the server or take a backup of the server itself, then they're trying to say that, hey, this is a machine, this is a computer which has the capability to cater over the internet across the globe, right? So storage of photos is an amazing service that I am sure 99% of us have used in one point or the other, right? Even social media, think about social media. When you upload your photos to maybe social media like Facebook or Instagram, for a long amount of time they are there, right? It is not like you posted on Instagram 15 days back and it is not there anymore. Your photo is still on their platform. Now it has to be stored in one of their servers to do that, right? This was how traditionally cloud computing came into the being. People wanted to back up things, they wanted access remotely and all of that. But now we are in an entirely different league here, ladies and gentlemen. Backing up photos is probably the simplest thing that you can do on the cloud computing environment, when probably a couple of years ago that was the most complex task to be achieved, right? These days, you can have the most powerful computer at your fingertips, even if that computer is sitting maybe 10,000 kilometers away from you. How amazing is that? You can get to use its storage, you can get to use its computing power, you can get to use everything that it'll just give you a feeling that you have the most powerful machine in the world right next to you if that is your requirement. Do you want one computer? Do you want two? Do you want three? Do you want 100? Right? If you want to set your entire office up on a cloud computing environment, it is definitely possible in today's world of cloud computing, right? Now with this, it brings us to a question saying, okay, so we get cloud computing, right? You can have a variety of services across the globe, be it information as a service, software as a service, and you can get platforms as a service. An entire platform is just given to you saying, hey, just put in your user ID, just put in your password, use our entire platform basically as we're giving it to you as a service. Use our computing power, use our hardware, the software that's provided. But one advantage is the fourth point. Before we get to the fourth point here, I want to discuss why we require cloud computing in today's world, right? Now, I don't know about all of you all, but this definitely is probably my first time going through a pandemic, right? Now, in this pandemic kind of a situation, we had to work from home. A lot of you guys in college have to study from home, and maybe you have to go to your exam centers for exams or whatever it is. But majority of the things that you would have to go to the actual location to do, you had to do it at home, right? So now more than ever, it is important that companies look towards cloud computing if they haven't before. Of course, there's a majority of people who are using cloud computing for all of their requirements. So it becomes vital that even if you going to the office sort of stops, the office comes home to you, right? That's a very simple analogy of how cloud computing works. You do not have to be physically present in one location to get your work done. Of course, this does not apply for a lot of things, but to the majority of aspects, this is a very important thing you should consider, right? So when you say we move entire organizations to the cloud, the second important point that comes into discussion is, okay, so what are we going to do for storage? What are we going to do for data processing, right? Now, we live in a world, did you know this? The amount of data that we generate somewhere is around 25 or 26 lakh terabytes a day in the entire world in 24 hours. By the time the sun goes up and the sun goes down in the other direction, 24, 25, 26 lakh terabytes worth of data is out there in the world, brand new data. Now, when this becomes the case, to handle all of this data is first of all a challenge. Second thing, to store it, right? Of course, it's not one person who's storing it. It's the entire world's responsibility to do it. But you will know how expensive it is to store data, right? Your laptop, your computer might come with 1 terabyte of storage, 2 terabytes of storage, 5, 8 terabytes of storage at max, 16 terabytes if you're running a server kind of a thing, right? Imagine you taking maybe a couple of months at least to fill these 2, 3, 4 terabytes. Now imagine going on to just storing 25 lakh terabytes a day. Sounds fun, right? But today's world of cloud computing, today's storage methodologies, today's innovative ways of how we can bring multiple computers to solve a problem remotely is the reason why we require cloud computing, and is the reason why the domain itself is really shining bright, guys. So no matter what your service is, you can get access to a different computer sitting at a different continent, 10 times, 100 times the power of what you are using. And the best policy with all of these cloud computing providers, which I absolutely love, is this plans which says pay as you go. Right now, imagine you have to walk into your local computer store, and maybe you guys are gamers or something. You have to buy a very expensive computer for gaming or photo processing, video processing, or anything, right? So you have to spend a good amount of money. You have to invest two, three, if not $4,000 to build a top-notch computer. With the case of cloud computing, you do not have to throw in all your $2,000-3,000 or whatever 2 lakh 3 lakh Indian rupees that's going to cost. Whatever you use on the cloud computing platform, right? Maybe today you used only a chunk of processing power. Tomorrow you use two computers. Then you use 3, 4, 500 computers, right? So for whatever you use, that is exactly how much you pay. It is not like, oh, I just bought a 4 lakh worth computer, but now I'm just sitting and watching YouTube videos on it, or I am just sitting and watching Netflix on it or something, right? It will not come back to you knowing that, hey, I might have spent my money better elsewhere. In the case of cloud computing, the choice is given to you. If you want to expand rapidly, if you want to build vertically or horizontally or scale up, guess what? It can be done beautifully as well. So rather having a better investment to you, maybe as when you're thinking as an employer, or when you're thinking as a person who wants to start your own company, the starting funds, right? The amount, the finances that you will have at the start is definitely something that should be in your concern, and I'm sure it already is. So this is some of the most important things, right? Shweta has a question saying, which is the best certification for DevOps, AWS or Azure? Well, Shweta, it's a very good question to ask, because at the end of the day, AWS and Azure are usually these competitors in the world of cloud computing that are going head to head, right? GCP, the Google Cloud Platform, is slowly incoming, but at the end of the day, when you take a look at these top providers, I think if I have to have a personal preference, it is AWS. But there are certain services that people at Azure, people at Microsoft are providing that Amazon is yet to catch up on. So it depends on your requirement. There is no best here in a way where it just is like an ice cream flavor, right? Maybe you like vanilla, maybe someone else likes chocolate, right? Unless you try both of them out, you will not know which one is right for you. So both these platforms give you a free trial that you can get started with. So definitely I suggest you get started, look towards which feels more at home, where you're comfortable in, and then hone in on that, fix up on that, and then start working on that. Right, let me just quickly up a little bit of my brightness here. Perfect. Rudresh says, can you speak Hindi? Well, Rudresh, this is a session which is meant for an English. Of course, we'll plan multiple sessions for cloud computing as well in Hindi, so you definitely can make use of that. But this session will be in English, Rudresh. Right. Okay guys, now moving on, I'm sure you understood what cloud computing is, why we require cloud computing. So let us dive into the world of Amazon Web Services and understand what these guys are doing to make themselves the number one cloud computing platform of today, right? Now there was a time when people were very hesitant of putting their data on the internet. There was a time when people would just not want to, they just wanted data all to themselves, and they would not trust anyone with data, right? In today's world, data privacy sort of it's a huge concern, don't get me wrong, but at the end of the day, there is a more trust factor in a way where companies entire companies are working using AWS and Azure in a way that they have to trust them. Amazon has built this credibility. It has sort of brought this trustworthiness to the market where you can trust them with the data, and it is not only just trust that has made them this amazing. They are providing some of the most cutting edge services out there, some of the most important tools out there, which definitely add a lot of value to you as a person who's in charge of a business, or even as an individual contributor as well. So that's an important thing. Now the third thing is, AWS were the people, Amazon was the people who said, okay, so if we want someone who is an expert in our software, let us provide certifications for it, right? So even before Microsoft or Google came up with this thought that says, hey, we require certification for our own domains, Amazon were the first one who says, okay, so you have to be certified, to call yourself a professional in this particular domain. So in 9 out of 10 cases, an AWS professional is definitely a person who is certified in these certifications, there's a lot of examinations that you'll have to take to clear certifications. That is the reason why we have this video as well, guys. So guys, we have a lot of people tuning into this session. If you like everything that you see on your screen right now, do take 1 second to hit that like button. It means a lot to us, and I'm sure guys, make sure to subscribe to the Great Learning YouTube channel, right? So we bring in more and more videos for you guys. It is taught by subject matter experts on multiple domains, so make sure you hit that subscribe button, right? Durgesh says this is recording section. Yes, Durgesh, this live session will be available to you after the session ends. It's going to be on the YouTube platform, so you can watch it whenever you want to, right? So guys, as I was saying, Amazon were the first people who brought about the concept of certifications in the world of cloud computing here. But when you think about, how Azure and GCP came into the picture when AWS was already there, multiple experts say that the development of Microsoft Azure and the development of the Google Cloud Platform were slightly influenced by the already present sort of the king of this kind of a cloud computing world, which was AWS, right? So it was inspired, you can say, or it was influenced by it, whatever is the word you want to call it, guys. But understand that AWS were the first people who were about to do this, right, guys? Now let us come to a section where we are going to answer this question: which AWS certification is the right one for you? Now, there are multiple AWS certifications. I'm sure you guys already know this. That would be the reason why you guys have tuned into this session. So to answer this question is very important. Now, what are the domains that you guys are looking for? Because let me tell you, this cloud computing is like an ocean, right? If you throw a stone, it will not dent the ocean into it, or nor will it matter a lot, right? So you have to hone in. You might be a person who's into data science, you might be a person who wants to do machine learning, or you are a DevOps professional or something, right? So you need to find your niche and then see which cloud provider is sort of providing support for your niche element to be used in this online world of cloud computing, right? That is an important thing. Now you might saying, hey, okay, I am a database developer, what's my thing? If I'm looking towards cloud, do I have any scope or something like that? As I've told you, right, 9 out of 10 domains here are something that can be scalable on the cloud. It literally, you will not find a difference of you using an offline server or you actually being connected to a cloud computing platform and working on it. Both are highly efficient. Both eventually will, it depends on your requirement of which will cost the higher or not. But coming back to certifications, there are multiple certifications and each of these certifications have a cost to it. So you need to know which certification is right for you before you get started, right? Let's answer that question. Which AWS certification is right for you? Now, before you think about how these certifications sort of, do you actually get a physical certificate mailed to your house and all of that are some of the questions that we get. The first thing is AWS provides these badges, these virtual badges called as acclaim badges, which are sort of the validation that, you guys are certified in that domain. I'm going to show you what the badges look like, but once you have these badges, it means you're a person, who is certified in these domains, right? There are certain examinations that usually one certification comes with one examination that you have to clear to make sure that you're showing the world that, hey, here is something that I learned. Here is an examination where I verified what I learned and I proved my worth, and then AWS gives you a badge saying, yes, this person is an expert, right? You got that. You prepare for it, you take up an examination, you pass the examination with the score that is required, and then you are a professional in that particular subdomain in the world of AWS, right? Now, the next question we get asked saying is, do I compulsorily have to know English to get started with AWS certification, or can I take it in any other language? Well, of course, AWS at the moment supports 4 different languages. You can take it in English. You can take all of these examinations in Japanese as well, Chinese and Korean, depending on where you are from and what you're proficient in as well. So it is not only just that compulsory requirement that you have to do it in English. There are other languages as well. And I'm sure AWS is working on bringing more and more languages into the domain to make sure that people who are not so proficient in English can definitely make complete use of it, right? So keep that thought in your mind, even though maybe your language is not listed here at the moment, right? The second set of things that you really have to know about AWS certifications is that when I said exams, right, these exams are not free. Some of these exams cost somewhere around $100 all the way to $350 that you will have to pay for every single attempt that you take. Right now, in Indian currency, it is basically 7,000 rupees all the way till somewhere around 26,000 rupees per attempt for an examination that you guys will have to pay to become an expert in all of these domains and have a certification for the same. Right now, since I've already mentioned that there are multiple examinations that are available, certifications that are available, if we take the average of all of these and find a duration, the average of an examination is somewhere around 2 hours, guys. So you will be preparing for weeks and months together to give a 2-hour exam that is eventually going to give you a badge, an acclaim badge that shows that you are an expert in this particular domain, right? So, keeping this in mind, you might say, okay, so it's a 2-hour examination. I learn for a couple of weeks or months. I write it. I am certified. Am I a lifelong AWS expert now? In terms of certification validity, right, all AWS certificates that you take the exam and get the acclaim badge for, this acclaim badge or certification is valid for 3 years, ladies and gentlemen. So for after every third year, you have to prove yourself again. And just to make sure that you guys, usually in today's world, what happens is once you prove your worth, you get into a cloud computing job. Later down the line, no one is going to ask you to retake these examinations again and again, because they already know that you have years worth of experience. But there are certain companies who say you definitely have to have an active certification if you're a part of the company. So in those cases, after every 3 years, you might have to take up the same certification again. But usually people build upon multiple certifications which are out there from the beginner level to the advanced level, which we are going to talk about right now, right? There are 3 different tiers when we talk about AWS certifications, ladies and gentlemen. It is the Foundational Certification, it is the Associate Certification, and of course it's the AWS Professional Certification as well. Now, AWS Foundational Certification is usually recommended for the people who have somewhere around 6 months of experience. They like to work with, cloud computing. They want to work with AWS. They might have not worked with it previously. They want to understand the entire foundation of, the functional working of cloud computing. Basically, for those people, AWS Foundation is the right one. Then when you're thinking about AWS Associate Certification, this is when there's a recommended experience to have. It is somewhere around 12 months or of course 1 year's worth of experience before you should take up the certification and actively work on clearing it. And then after Associate, there's another level of certification called as the AWS Professional Certification. This again, mind you, is somewhere from around 12 to 24 months of experience, right? So it is actually supposed to be beyond 12 months of experience for this one, for AWS certification. But of course, it is not a compulsion saying you have to have 24 6 months of experience to get started with. It is their recommended recommended amount of experience that it requires, because you cannot clear a certification with maybe 5-10 days of expertise, right? You have to know the in-depths of the domain. That is why it's called as a certification, right, guys? Now, before we go on to talk about each of these individual certifications, again, if you guys are very much interested in all of these courses in cloud computing and any other course, make sure you guys are actively checking out Great Learning Academy. And of course, do subscribe to the Great Learning YouTube channel and take a second to hit that like button if you love everything you're seeing on your screen right now, guys. I'll take a quick gulp of water and we can talk about AWS Foundational Certifications. Right. So now it's an amazing thing about AWS Foundational Certifications that you're supposed to know a lot of different things, right? See, on the right, you have something called as the acclaim badge that we saw about. And in the case of AWS Foundational Certifications, there is one very important certificate that you guys have to work on. Start taking notes from this point on, guys. It's called as the AWS Certified Cloud Practitioner Certification. Now, this is a certification which talks a lot about how you can clear and have a clear understanding about the foundational aspects that govern the entire world of cloud computing. If you're a person who's familiar with the Microsoft Azure environment, right? So this certification is very similar to the one that they offer, which is called as Microsoft Azure Fundamentals Certification, right? So it's a certification that you use to get started with the domain, understand it, be thorough in the foundations, and then have a certificate saying, yes, I am a cloud practitioner. I know how this cloud computing domain works. But then to go on to do it, you require one examination. That examination is called as AWS CLF C01. This examination has to be cleared, and to work on these examinations, right, especially the examination C01 that I spoke about, will test you on four very important concepts. First of all the cloud concepts. It will be talking about the various services provided, what each services mean, what when a cloud computing platform is providing a service, what are all the things that the client has to know, what all are the things that the cloud computing platforms themselves are providing, and all of that. Next, of course, whenever you're thinking about putting your data out there on a public platform, you have to understand about keeping that data secure, right? So next, you'll be talking about security, you will be tested on compliance, and of course the basic technology that goes into having and understanding a working cloud environment, right? Technology is something that you will be quizzed upon here as well. And the fourth thing is, as I told you, to get started with an AWS cloud computing platform, it is sort of free in a way. They give you a free trial and a good amount of credit that you can use to learn. But going on, the majority of the money, of course, comes in from their products which are being billed to customers, and all the pricing that is being given to the customers, right? So you have to understand for what amount of usage is what amount of bill that is eventually costing to the company, right? So that is an important thing that we'll be talking about in the AWS Foundational Certification, guys. So there's only one cloud practitioner certification in the foundational level. Coming on the second thing is the AWS Associate Certifications. Now, Associate Certifications is one step up from the foundational certifications in a way where here you have three choices to pick from. You have the AWS Certified Associate, the Solutions Architect Associate. Next, you have the SysOps Administrator Associate, and you have the Developer Associate Certification. You can pick one of these, or you can pick all of these as well. But usually, you can either work on a Solutions Architect Associate or a Developers Associate. But if you're a person who loves working on the admin side of things, you definitely should look towards the SysOps Administrator Associate as well. Right, guys. Now, whenever you're taking a look at the first one, which was the AWS Certified Solutions Architect Associate, right? This certification requires an examination that is called as SAA C02. SAA stands for Solutions Architect Associate. C02 is the name of the examination that you have to take to clear this. And this is an examination which will test you on how well you understand certain design principles that exist in the world of software, right? There is a structured way of how we look at building a software or even maintaining a software and eventually using it. So to understand all of these of how it works in a cloud computing platform is exactly what you'll be taught in this certification as well. So you have to know this. You'll be tested based upon this, right? So it is again, if you have a problem, if you have a project, it is not only one way of how you can solve it. There can be 10 solutions, there can be 100 solutions, right? So you need to know all of these best practices that go into finding the best solution for a project. That is what you will be tested on as well, right? So you'll be tested on four things of how you can design resilient architectures which will stand if even if the company is scaling really quickly. The second thing is, whenever you're working about providing a solution, you have to talk about if the cloud computing platform is providing high performance computing and high performance architecture for the companies. You will be tested upon that as well. And the third thing, as always, is an important thing with AWS is security. You will be tested on security applications, security architectures, how you understand security, how you implement it, and all of that in AWS, right? And the fourth thing is, sometimes you can cross your budgets really easily. So having cost optimization is an important skill to have. You'll be trained upon all of that, and you, instead of trained upon with this certification, you'll be tested upon that directly, guys. So you have to have the working knowledge of how you can optimize the costs when it comes to when it comes to using these platforms, right? You might require one computer, a simple i3 or an i5 machine to get your job done, and there's a good chance you might have used a very very powerful computer which will maybe not come in your budget, right? So in that particular case as well, you have to look towards a solution where you can optimize the best way possible in terms of returns and in terms of money. Right, guys. Now, after the first AWS Associate Certification, the second thing which you're going to check out is the SysOps Administrator Associate. With the SysOps Administrator Associate, you have to take an exam, SOA C01. You have to clear this to make sure you have the certification. This is a certification which is definitely testing you on your ability of how you can deploy services on AWS, how you can manage services on AWS, and of course, how you can operate these systems, right? This is the practical knowledge. This is the foundational concept that you would have built upon from your foundational certification. As an associate, you definitely should know how to deploy, maintain, or operate systems on the cloud computing platform. And it is not only this, it makes sure that you can have the complete capability to take an on-premise workload, move it onto AWS, and make sure that whatever was the load that your AWS system can handle it, it can work on it, and effectively provide a solution based upon it as well, right? So that's SysOps Administrator Associate. You will be tested upon your skills of how you know about monitoring and reporting in AWS, what is the amount of availability that you are aware of, how you can map different things on the platform, what is your knowledge upon deployment and provisioning, storage and management, security and compliance. See, security is a very important thing everywhere, right? And then networking is very important for SysOps, and of course the world of automation and how you can optimize things, not only finances wise, but even providing a solution to a product, right? That is why a SysOps Administrator certification is very very important. The next certification that we're going to be checking out is the AWS Certified Developer Associate. Now, this is a very, very, very popular certification which a lot of people look towards. So guys, again, there's an examination for this. The examination is DVA C01. DVA stands for the Developer Associate C01. This needs to be cleared in a way where you can clear this if you have the complete capability to understand all of the different services provided by AWS. You have a functional knowledge of the architecture. You have had some hands-on experience in that, right? So it will test you on a lot of different things, including all of the stuff that I just said, and also it will be checking your capability if you can develop cloud-based solutions. Can you deploy cloud-based solutions? How well can you do it? How effectively are you trying to solve a problem? All of that is being discussed in the AWS Associate Developers AWS Certified Developers Associate certification as well. In this particular case, you will be tested upon all of these things of how you can go on to provide deployment, what is the methods of security you're going to be implementing when you're designing and deploying a product or a software here, and of course, how can you do native development using all the services provided by AWS, and of course, a lot of monitoring, troubleshooting, understanding what is going on, right? So it's almost like you definitely being a developer, but being a developer on an entirely different platform, right? So you require that sort of thinking, the mindset that a developer would have, but in this case you're going to be using all that knowledge to scale upon things that are present in the cloud computing environment. So these are the AWS Associate certifications, guys. Next, we need to check out what we call as AWS Professional Certifications. Now, before we go on to professional certifications, guys, if you have any questions, I'll be more than happy to answer them. Stack Dev says, great content. Well, Stack Dev, thank you so much for your kind words. It means a lot to us. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel so that you don't miss any of the content that we're putting out. Right. Akshay has a question. Hi sir, working in a service IT company in risk domain related to Java and DevOps, looking to get AWS Cloud Practitioner certified. Will it be helpful? Akshay, definitely. Now, you might have a question saying, is there an order to go on to be certified in AWS? I'm going to answer that right after we cover this section. But for now, I definitely think that you can look towards Cloud Practitioners. It's a foundational certification which you should have. After which you definitely can look towards other certification in the associate section. Once you clear a couple of associate certifications, if you definitely want to up your game, in the case of DevOps, you definitely should be looking towards AWS Professional Certifications. We're going to be discussing DevOps certification in this section as well, guys. All right, guys. Make sure that you are keeping your questions coming. I'm checking. So while you guys put down your questions, let us check out the AWS Professional Certifications. There are two important AWS Professional Certifications that you guys should be looking towards. It is the AWS Certified Solutions Architect Professional and the AWS Certified DevOps Engineer Professional. Right? These two certifications are sort of the pinnacle of AWS certifications, at least in my opinion, because if you are an AWS certified solutions architect, it means that you have the complete working knowledge of this domain. You might have come from the foundational level, you might have come through the associate level, and now you have also cleared the professional certification, right? So let us check out what these two certifications are all about. In the case of AWS Certified Architect Professional, right, there's an exam which you need, which you have to clear, which is the SAP C01. SAP stands for Solutions Architect Professional. This is definitely a requirement for you guys to clear the certification. To clear it, you will be tested on a lot of things. One very important thing that you'll be tested upon is how you can design and deploy fault-tolerant systems, how you can design and deploy scalable applications as well, right? Now, when I say a scalable application, at the end of the day, you might have a product which is working fine if you get a customer base of 10. Now, if you have to up that into 100,000, 10,000 or 1 lakh customers that you haven't expected but eventually rushed into your platform or your website, you have to make sure that your application, your software doesn't crash, right? But guess what? AWS has the complete capability to do auto scaling for you in a way where if it will allocate systems automatically based on the traffic, based on the resources that are being used. So if a small amount of resources are being used, 1 to 5 or 10 computers are allocated. If a lot of people are coming in and the rush is just pouring in, you definitely can just automatically set it to scale up. So eventually things don't fail, right? Now, a lot of e-commerce sites eventually use this principle. Whenever there is a flash sale, whenever there is a launch event or something where product gets sold out in a few seconds, all the traffic is pouring in that particular second, so their site should not crash, right? So they allocate in the backend the resources required automatically to scale up based on the traffic that is hand. So this is a certification that will test you on all of these abilities that you might have. It will talk about how you can work on cost control strategies as well, because once you go up and up in this domain, your costs will also go up because of the convenience and the numerous advantages that you're being provided with. It is vital that you work on how you can effectively minimize your cost and maximize your value for money, right? So there's a lot of content online, which content outline which you definitely can look towards. You will be working on, you would have worked on the design for organizational complexity. That is something you'll be tested upon. How can you provide new solutions? That is something you'll be tested upon. What is your plan for migrating from one system to another one, maybe one platform into another, taking an offline server and bringing it to the cloud, eventually cost control, and how can you improvise the solutions that already exist, right? Now, it doesn't mean that if you're using cloud computing, you started on scratch. It might be that you have a system which you already took to the cloud and now you look towards improving that, right? In that particular case, continuous improvement is something which is very vital, ladies and gentlemen. Right. This brings us to the second professional certifications where we'll be discussing about the AWS Certified DevOps Engineer Professional. The word DevOps here is a very fun one because DevOps is again a domain on its own which is trying to bridge the gap that exists between developers and operations team. Right now, developers go on to write code, write a varieties of software. It is the department, it is the operations department that eventually makes sure that the latest stuff gets verified, tested, and then becomes live on the web application, website, or whatever software it is. Right. So to know that you're a person who has the capability to do this on a cloud computing platform, you are going to require to clear an examination, DOP C01. DOP stands for DevOps Engineer Professional C01. This needs to be cleared. There's an examination. To go on to clear it, it will make sure that you have to be proficient in the case of how you can implement continuous delivery systems on the world of Amazon Web Services. It will also talk about how not only can you deploy things better, but your ability to track the metrics behind these deployments, to talk about how well can you monitor solutions using this, and what is your proficiency in terms of logging, right? Logging is this fundamental structured thing which is done to track a lot of different things. A million things can be logged at your fingertips and you can have the information ready in the case of AWS, but to read those logs and understand them, you require certain knowledge, right? So you'll be tested upon all of these different things. You'll be tested upon how you can automate the software development lifecycle. That is what SDLC stands for. You'll also be talking about working on configuration management and using infrastructure as code. You will be tested upon your ability to monitor and work on logging, as I just mentioned. And of course, there are certain policies and standards which can be automated as well. You will be tested upon that too. And it so happens in some cases that there are certain incidents. So to make sure that your systems are fault tolerant and you already have a plan in case if disaster strikes, right? It's called as disaster recovery and incident and event responses as well. So everything is covered, right, from the best case situation till the worst case situation where something might happen and your data is gone from the Amazon's data center, right? Maybe a huge earthquake, maybe a tsunami, whatever it is, right? I mean, these data centers are placed in a way where it is extremely safe, and to get access to it by a public person is nearly impossible because it is highly secure, and it is impossible to break in because there are 15-16 layers of security that one must go through even before getting to touch the server where your data is stored, right? So they're making sure that you know all of these things. As a professional, it becomes very vital that you know all of these, ladies and gentlemen. Now, at the start of the session, I told you that there are 3 tiers: the foundational one, the associate one, and the specialty and the professional one, right? What is this AWS specialty certification that I'm talking about? Guys, if you know what AWS specialty certifications are, head to the comment section and let me know. Right, Kashyap Pandu, welcome to the session. Development team plus operations equal to DevOps team. Yes, you are perfect. That is how it is meant. Priya says, sir, is there any placement training session that we have? Priya, make sure that you're checking out Great Learning Academy. In Great Learning Academy, we have an entire interview preparation section that you can enroll into for free, learn for free, and get a certificate of completion for free as well. Make sure that you're checking out. And Chaitanya Manam says, for big data and ETL professionals, which certification is correct? Well, nice timing, Chaitanya. We're going to discuss one of that here as well. Akshay says, thank you, sir, for your answer. Absolutely, it's my pleasure, Akshay. Is it possible to switch from Java DevOps to purely cloud and DevOps without coding, considering I have 1 to 1.5 years of experience in Formula 1? Can we connect after this session? Well, Akshay, we both of us are bound to this session, so let me answer that for you right here. Is it possible to switch from Java DevOps to pure cloud and DevOps? The answer is yes. See, since we're talking about certifications, a certification talks about how well you're proficient into bringing previous knowledge you have and expanding that onto the cloud environment, right? So in this case, without coding is definitely difficult, but since you already have the knowledge of coding, there is a good chance you can get started quicker on the domain of DevOps on the cloud as well. So that is my answer to you. Giuliano says, how many years of experience is it recommended before taking these exam certifications? Giuliano, as I mentioned, for the foundational courses, it is worth to have 6 months of experience before you go on to work with it. For the AWS Associate Certifications, it is recommended to have 12 months of experience or 1 year. And for AWS Professional Certifications, it is vital, or it is recommended to have 2 years worth of experience to get started and, of course, clear the requirement. Right, guys, now to talk about the AWS Specialty Certifications. Well, this is a certification which is again bringing down into the niche domain where you are trying to cover about things which are very vital. Again, they are a special thing, they are a small thing, but it might have a huge impact, right? Now, in the case of AWS, you have 3 different specialty certifications: the AWS Certified Database Certification, you have the AWS Certified Data Analytics Certification, and of course the AWS Certified Machine Learning Certification as well. So let us quickly talk about 3 more certifications that are there from the first 3 that I just mentioned. You have AWS Certified Security, AWS Certified Networking, and AWS Certified Alexa Skill Builder as well, guys. Now, whenever we're talking about these certifications, right, look to your screen. There are 6 that are mentioned: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. each of these specialty certifications have certain meaning to them. For example, if you want to look towards becoming an expert in the case of database management and working with it on a cloud computing platform, you would look at AWS Certified Database. If you're a person who's into data analytics and you want to take your entire knowledge to the cloud, you definitely will be working on AWS Certified Data Analytics as well. And the third thing is, if you're a person who is looking towards machine learning to provide solutions based upon this domain of data science and you want to expand all of this to the cloud, you definitely should be looking towards AWS Certified Machine Learning as well. Right, guys, point number 4 talks about AWS Certified Security. Again, if you are a person who is looking towards certification in the domain of security, you want to understand it better, you'll be looking towards AWS Security. If you're a person who wants to understand how the back end of networking works in the world of cloud computing, AWS Certified Networking will help you. And number 6, right, AWS Certified Alexa Skill Builder. Alexa is again a part of the Amazon's ecosystem. So if you're looking towards that kind of ecosystem to learn in as well, you can bring that platform to the cloud and use it too, guys. So these are some of the 6 specialty certifications that you can cover with the help of AWS. Now, guys, there is a common question that we get asked saying, is there an order for AWS certifications? Well, you guys head to the comment section right now. You guys head to the chat box and let me know, if you think there is a certain order when it comes to AWS certification, guys. Right, guys, I'm monitoring all of your comments here as we speak. So if you again have any question, make sure you are putting them down. Giuliano says, I think the Alexa certification will be retired soon in March. I think, well, Giuliano, it definitely, in this world of online certifications, certain certifications, even with the case of Azure, right, they have only validity until one particular date. It is usually somewhere in March that these certifications get revamped. But it is very vital to know what stays, what goes, because once you're certified, you have 3 years validity on that certifications, right? Okay. Well, to answer my question, there is no order to any sort of AWS certifications, guys. There was a time when you compulsorily had to clear a particular order to make sure, that you can, for example, you have to clear foundational to get to associate, then you have to clear associate to get to professionals. Now everything is standalone for the last couple of months to get started with, but it is highly recommended you start with the cloud certified cloud practitioner, because this will get you started with the domain itself. Don't just jump towards professional certification thinking that you've put in a good amount of time. Professional certifications are very difficult to clear and these examinations can be challenging as well. So get started with certified cloud practitioner, then look towards associate examinations, and then look towards these professional ones, right? So depending on your interest, depending on what it is that you want to learn, I am sure there is a certification, right? We also discussed the specialty certifications that are there here. So based upon all of that, you definitely require this kind of a knowledge. For example, in many cases for certain professional certifications, you do require associate certification as well. So in that case, it is vital to know. But it is a very recent policy change in Amazon that says that no matter what, all AWS certifications are standalone. Pick what you want and work your way from there. Right, guys, coming to a point where we are discussing, the point of aspect of thinking about having a career in cloud computing. One thing you definitely should know is that now more than ever, cloud computing is very popular. It has somewhere around 35% growth to be predicted in the year 2021. And guys, 35% on a $120 billion dollar industry is something which is very huge, right? Think about 35% on 120 billion. We're not just talking about 1%, 2%. We're talking about 35%. Almost half of 120 billion is going to double up in the next year, right? So that is something amazing. Now with COVID-19, the cloud requirements around the world are rapidly expanding. Everyone is looking towards AWS. Everyone wants Azure. Everyone wants GCP. So now more than ever, having a career in cloud computing is very, very rewarding. There is thousands of job openings across the world, and since it's a cloud computing domain, there's a good chance that remote working is something which is going to go on for another couple of months until everyone is vaccinated for sure. So until then, it is not just until then. People now realize the value and the worth if they invest in cloud computing, right? So they're hiring more and more and more experts. So this creates thousands of job openings that you guys should apply for. And in the case previously, right, if we go back to March 2020, when a lot of people were losing their jobs and whatnot, due to people saying, hey, there's a recession because of the virus, cloud computing jobs were very very stable back then, because it was the prime requirement in today's world then and tomorrow as well. A lot of different types of services are being offered every day. A new service comes up to make your life easier with cloud computing environment. A lot of demand keeps coming up and up and up, asking for more and more experts in cloud computing. And a very important thing that you have to understand is that in the case of healthcare as well, right, cloud computing is having a very 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 important way to provide solutions there as well. So even doctors, even professionals who are in the world of healthcare and medicine are looking towards the domain of cloud computing to see how they can leverage it to solve medical problems better, right? You have researchers who are doing that, and experts of course, but at the end of the day, to get to that point, having a certification definitely helps. Right, guys. So where can you learn more of cloud computing online is a very very common question that we get asked a lot. So my suggestion is to make sure you guys take it slow. Whenever you want to learn cloud computing, know that you will be swimming in an ocean. If you do not know how to swim, or if you cannot swim far, you will drown. It is one of these things which I have to say in as straightforward as possible, because there is tons and tons of content available online. If you do not take it structured, if you do not have your foundation strong, and you just skim through all of the things saying, hey, I might not require this, or I already know this, things will get difficult later, and you might even not continue or pursue the domain, because things are complex. There you'll have to revisit the fundamental, understand them. Why do you want all this nonsense in your way of learning, right? So at the start itself, have a structured path. Take a look at all of the career roadmap videos that we have put out. There's a career roadmap video that we put out for cloud computing as well. I was a person who recorded it for in our YouTube channel, so make sure you're checking that out. Make sure you're talking to experts in the industry as well. For example, I am a subject matter expert in all of these regard. We have multiple subject matter experts here at Great Learning, not just in the domain of cloud computing, but all the other domains as well. So make sure you're talking to us, asking your questions. This will help you all to get started, right? The next question we get asked saying is, okay, so what are the places where we can get free content on cloud computing? Well, at the start of the session, I already walked you through Great Learning Academy. Great Learning Academy is a place where you can log in, sign up for free, enroll into courses for free, learn for free, and even get a certificate of completion absolutely free of cost as well. So make sure that you guys get yourselves into Great Learning Academy, enroll there, start learning, and more, guys. And of course, for the other free content here, we have at Great Learning, you have the Great Learning YouTube channel and Great Learning blogs. For all the people who love watching videos, you have the YouTube channel. Make sure, guys, take 1 second out of your time. We have a lot of people watching this session. Take 1 second to hit that subscribe button and that bell icon, because if you subscribe, you will always be notified when we put out videos like this for you. And for all the people who love reading in general, I love reading, so we do have Great Learning blogs that you guys can check out on Google as well. Right, guys, the next thing that I want to discuss, the last thing I want to discuss, is cloud computing specialization. Now, it so happens that all the free content in the world will definitely give you a heads up. It will get you started with all of these content. But if you are aiming to become a professional, if you're aiming to have complete proficiency of a domain, if you're looking towards becoming an expert in a domain, right, you definitely have to look towards specializations in cloud computing. Now, let me quickly open up greatlearning.in website for you all, and here let me quickly open up our cloud computing section, because here we have a post-graduation program in cloud computing, guys. Now, this is considered to be India's most comprehensive cloud computing program. This is done in collaboration with Great Lakes Executive Learning. This is powered by AWS Educate as well. So this is a postgraduate program where we are covering a lot of different things. There are numerous advantages of picking up this post-graduation program from Great Learning. You get a comprehensive, thorough curriculum that you'll be working upon. You'll have 15 plus hands-on labs. You'll be working on AWS, Azure, and Google Cloud Computing to make sure that you guys can pick up whatever is your favorite. In terms of live personalized mentorship, you get one-to-one mentorship. You'll be taught from industry level experts. You will have live sessions, recorded sessions, hybrid learning at your time, at your convenience, which is definitely something which should definitely help you all. And this is a mentorship driven program where you can work with mentors. You will be taught, you will be handheld from becoming from going from a beginner all the way to becoming an expert, right? So you can download the entire brochure. This is a 6-month program. Hitting the download brochure will basically give you an entirely different aspect, the complete details of what you will be learning, guys. At the end of it, you will be given a certificate which looks like this: a postgraduate program in cloud computing from Great Lakes Executive Learning. As you can see, the comprehensive curriculum talks about 90 plus cloud services that are covered. Each of these domains have their own subtopics: the primer, the preparatory work required, cloud foundations, containers, microservices, all of these things that will get you started with the domain first. And then you have AWS specialization, where you'll be working on all these things in AWS that we discussed. Then you'll be taking a look at Azure for a person, if you are looking towards Azure as well. And then you'll be looking towards a self-paced program built on teaching you about Google Cloud Platform, after which you'll have a capstone project, and eventually you will have a post-graduation certification, guys. There's various languages covered, various tools covered. You have Python, Docker, Cassandra, Hadoop, Hive, Terraform, and many other tools and languages that are covered. You will have access to 200 plus projects in 50 plus domains, right? Now all of these projects are real life projects. These are some of the projects which will add a lot of value to your life and to your learning, and at the end of the day, if you put it all on your resume, it definitely will help you outshine the competition, depending on how well you have worked on the project. You'll be working with 20 plus professors, 20 plus industry mentors, and of course you're working with award-winning faculty as well. We have some of the best faculty, some of the most experienced, and of course all the experienced industry practitioners from top organizations working for us. So you will be learning with all of them, and you get numerous advantages of working with Great Learning. You can see video testimonials from all of our learners, reviews, and of course, guys, this is a program where you will have to admit yourself. You have an admission, you'll have a certain fee to pay. This is a 6 months full program. You have 300 plus hours of learning, 15 plus hours of projects, 90 plus cloud services that get covered, live sessions where you're taught, and of course you get access to the industry and the peer networks of Great Learning as well. And we do have certain finances, EMI options that you guys can definitely look towards. You can get a loan to get started with. If you keep scrolling down, you'll see an entire application process here as well. You have to fill the application, then you have to go through a screening call, there's an interview process, and then an offer letter will be rolled out to candidates, which ensures that you secure your seat, right? So there's a deadline for these applications as well, so make sure you're checking that out. There's a batch start dates. If you keep scrolling down, you get more and more information, guys. So you definitely should take a look at the Great Learning website, explore all the details about the post-graduation program in cloud computing that we have here. This will add and amplify a good amount of knowledge that you have. It will make sure that you go from a beginner to being an expert in cloud domains, discussing AWS, it's discussing GCP, it's discussing Azure, and all of these things. So you can pick, you have the freedom to pick which you want to become an expert in, now that you will have working knowledge of all of these 3 domains, right? So make sure you're checking out the post-graduation program in cloud computing, guys. On that note, guys, you have reached the end of the session. Thank you so much for being an amazing audience. You guys asked all of the questions. I tried to answer all of them. So guys, again, if you loved everything you saw on your screen right now, do take a second to hit that like button and subscribe to the Great Learning YouTube channel. Make sure you're checking out Great Learning Academy for free content, free courses where you can learn for free and get certificate of completion for free as well. On that note, guys, make sure all of you are staying safe from the ongoing pandemic. Take all the required measures and keep your learning rate high. All right, guys, I'll see you on the next one. Have a nice evening ahead. Cheers.